My name is Ben Frisby. Over here is Kevin Shaw. We're up here on stage today because we were dumb enough to think that we could bike from Vancouver to Toronto in the Canadian winter. But the real reason we're up here on stage is talking about the powerful lessons we learned on the Trans-Canada Highway. One of our members here, Jordan Gillisley, can't be here tonight.
Could we get a hi, Jordan, in 3, 2, 1. Hi, Jordan.
That's awesome. He'll like that. He's down in Toronto. As was already said, we grew up together. We spent a lot of time together. Basketball, high school. We actually traveled the world together. But we'd always challenge each other to do new things. All right? One of those new things was a bike ride across Canada. But we all agreed that it wasn't enough of an idea to motivate us to leave our careers. So that's when we found something that we all had together. And that thing was that each of us had been personally affected by cancer. Jordan Gillisley's dad at the time was battling with colon cancer. Kevin's grandpa had recently passed away from cancer. And my own father was a testicular cancer survivor. I still remember to that day how difficult it was when he came home and told me that he had been diagnosed. Well, with that cause in hand and that bond we shared, the Moustache Ride Across Canada started to come forward. It was going to be a 43-day journey, October 17th, leaving Vancouver, arriving in Toronto on November 29th. We had the audacious goal of raising $100,000 as well as awareness for Movember. And luckily we did it with Movember because it was a nice balmy time in the year to ride a bike. That brings me to the little hiccup that we had, which was the fact that none of us were bikers. We also didn't own any bikes or pretty much any of the gear that was essential to make this trip happen, let alone let this trip happen well. But with that cause, we worked really, really hard, and we found Trek to give us a bike. We found Vega to give us our nutrition, and we also found StormTech to give us our gear to help us with the minus 25 weather that we faced. This became one of the best trips of my life. And as you'll see in the next slide, it was just stunning. All right, it was these just round,
look familiar,
beautiful, supple landscapes that I got to stare at for 5 hours a day, every day, was inspiring and moving. On a more serious topic, something cool really started to happen when we got into this ride, and that was the fact that 5-10 days in, support really started to flow in. We had friends, we had family, we had people we'd never even known or talked to, starting to tell our story, starting to reach out to their networks and make people more aware about mental health issues. So, as you can see, it was unbelievable. We made it through BC without a drop of precipitation. Through the Rockies, it was beautiful. I was with a couple of my best friends. It was a huge, massive rigmarole to make this all started, but we got it done, and it was awesome.
And then shit got real. What you're looking at is one of our back tires forming icicles, meaning that the water didn't even have a chance to run off of the tire before it started to freeze. And the kicker, this was day 11 of 43. We were still in Alberta at this time. And let me tell you, it didn't get any warmer. Looking at minus 25, ice starts to form all over your gearbox of your bike. We actually had to pull over to the side of Highway 1, find sticks, and start beating the bikes like monkeys, trying to break the ice off of it. And then we had to take our Allen keys and hollow out one of the sprockets, place the chain on the bike, and ride them like single gear fixies for the rest of the day. And then our sanctuary, the RV.
To give you an example, picture a 10-year-old hockey bag that has just been fermenting, and then you crawl in it with 4 of your good friends. That's what the RV was like.
Yeah, plus a camera guy. But as our ride grew more difficult, we found strength within. Moments like this where we visited the Terry Fox Memorial, the exact place where he ended his marathon of hope due to his bout with cancer. And it was at this exact moment when we realized this ride was growing much bigger than us and much bigger than the pain that we were enduring. We also found support from the community. Really powerful stuff. And that powerful stuff that we inspired, in turn, inspired us. As you can see, it was much needed. And the lesson that we learned was that if you're willing to help that person beside you, you'll be amazed at what they're willing to do in return. So what did all this mean? Well, it meant that we traveled over 4,500 kilometers from Vancouver to Toronto. We had media impressions of over 10 million throughout all major cities from Vancouver to Toronto. And we raised almost $160,000 by the time it was all said and done. And most importantly, you can see our route from space. That was an image from one of the last days. And we learned that—
That's not safe.
we learned that the human will is powerful beyond imagination. The human body can endure absolute torture and come out inspired. All you have to do is reach out and take it. Don't be afraid of failing. Be afraid of missing the opportunity. Every day we go through our lives and we have feelings of excitement and joy and happiness. We might feel them at work or at home. But one of the feelings that we felt in this ride was one of fulfillment. And we can tell you the best path to fulfillment is through the path of generosity. As we close our presentation, we were just three regular guys, honestly, grew up in Vancouver, that had an idea. If there's something out there that you want to do, we're here to tell you to do it.